So Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie has parted ways with French side Paris FC. This was announced by the club yesterday, with Chiamaka making her own announcement not too long ago today. Now, there have been rumors in the past weeks about her joining another team, but as of now, no contracts have been signed and everything is still up in the air. But before we go any further and talk about what's next for Africa's best goalkeeper, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. So yeah, like I said, there has been recent talk about Chiamaka Nnadozie leaving Paris FC. So this right here was a report from Punch newspaper on the Punch website. It says Nnadozie agrees to join Everton April 27th, 2025. This was right before the French Cup, the Women's French Cup final that they played against PSG, and this was reported. And the main part right here says, according to Score Nigeria, Nnadozie has entered a pre-contract agreement with Everton. And normally you do a pre-contract agreement when you have like less than a year left on your contract. You can sign a pre-contract agreement. I think it's 6 months on your contract. You can sign a pre-contract agreement. So not too sure about that. That has not been made public. Everton has not come out and said they've signed Chiamaka. Maybe they're waiting for the little tears and everything to dry up between Chiamaka and Paris FC. Then they'll come out with the statement about signing her. But as of right now, none has been made public when it comes to Everton and Chiamaka Nnadozie. So I guess we'll have to be on the lookout for that. But then yesterday, this statement came out, the announcement by Paris FC announcing the departure of Chiamaka Nnadozie. Of course, you got to translate it, and this is what comes out. It says, arriving at Paris FC in 2020 from Rivers Angels FC, Chiamaka immediately became a key part of the team. Best goalkeeper in Arkema Premier League in 2023-2024. She left Paris FC after a magnificent victory in the Coupe de France, in which she was one of the main players. Paris FC warmly thanks Chiamaka for these 5 years, which will forever leave a mark on the club's history. We wish her the best for the next stage of her career. Of course, somehow, some way they turned her to him, but hey, we know what they meant. And today, like I said, not too long ago, probably a couple hours ago, Chiamaka Nnadozie came out with a statement of her own, and it goes, been an honor to have been a part of this amazing team for the past 5.5 years. I will miss each and every one of you. Thank you all for the support and great memories. It's hard to say goodbye to such a fantastic team. Keep achieving greatness. Thank you, Paris FC, at Paris FC. So that's that. Chiamaka Nnadozie leaves Paris FC after a fantastic stint over there. Like the club said, left Rivers Angels 2020, and she's not looked back since then. She made herself the best goalkeeper in Africa, back-to-back CAF Goalkeeper of the Year, Arkema Goalkeeper of the Year. We go back to not this season that just ended, the season before, when they went all the way to the group stage, getting past Arsenal and Wolfsburg in the process. Arsenal, by the way, champions of Europe right now. So, I mean, come on now. They've done a lot over there at Paris FC. And I, for one, will miss this team, because I saw them from when she joined. They were not the best of clubs. They kept on improving. You got to give their coach a whole bunch of credit, because it's not like she's just buying up players. They're bringing in young players and they're putting them in the system, and they're just working them. And the team got better and better. And we saw what happened at the end. They win the French Women's Cup. I felt like they could have done way better at the French Women's Playoffs, the French League Playoffs. I think they just were too excited from winning the cup. They were celebrating a little too much, and they went in there and they didn't put up a fight, to be honest. But that being said, when it comes to Chiamaka leaving the club, for me, I kind of wanted her to stay at the team. I've been liking the improvements that I've been seeing from the team, and I feel like, hey, you have a great coach that's taking the team in a great direction. So what's there? Why should you leave unless you have this perfect option to go to? But then you also look at the French league and things that have happened in the past. You look at Stade de Rennes with players over there, Blessing Tosin Demahi and Rofieri Moran, how they had fantastic seasons but still had to leave the club. And not just that, nobody else signing them in that league. The whole league allowed those two players who were proven league players to just leave. Tosin Demahi in Galatasaray, Rofieri Moran, of course, now in the first division over there in England, but started in the second division. So I'm thinking it might be a money type situation. Then when it comes to the next move, my thought is that Chiamaka will sign with a team before the women's AFCON starts. I don't think there's any need to go into the WAFCON without a team. It's not like she's an up-and-coming player that wants to show the world what she's about. They already know what she's about. So I'm thinking somebody is going to pop up and she's going to sign with a team before the competition starts. Then when it comes to my guess on the team she will be playing for, I'm thinking somewhere in England or the United States. Of course, there is the PSG and Lyon option available in France. I want to take that off the table, but I'm just thinking Chiamaka would be somebody who wouldn't want to play for either one of those teams because she's been competing so hard against them. It would kind of feel like you're stabbing Paris FC in the back, and I don't think she would want to do something like that. I might be wrong because, number one, a lot of players have done it. She wouldn't be the first to go from one of the top clubs to another. It's like a normal trip from PSG to Lyon. Every time, every season, you see players leaving from PSG to Lyon. So that could be a possibility. I think England is more likely because here's a top league with teams that do have a stash. They have money to spend. And speaking of money, of course, the United States have money to spend. The NWSL, I think she could play in either of those leagues and be really successful in those leagues. So those are definitely options. What teams? Don't know, not too sure. I mean, the United States, I feel like any team you play for in the United States can be a contender. The only thing that's tough over there is really consistency. It's tough to be consistent in the United States, but you can't join any team and make them a contender. You look at Bay FC with Asisa Oshwala. They were like 1 minute away from defeating the runners-up last season in the playoffs. They were 1-0 up. Oshwala scored the goal, and Washington, D.C., Washington Spirit, they scored in the 90th minute, if I'm not mistaken, and that's how they got past Bay FC. And Bay FC is a team that was recently created. They were created that season. So when you look at that level of competitiveness, I feel like that's something that could attract any football player. And of course, if we're talking about money, there is Saudi Arabia. You have Ashley Plumter over there. You have Francisco Adego over there. And if we're talking about money, we're talking about money. And they pay real well over there. So I don't look down on Saudi Arabia. I know a lot of people say, how would these players compete in the national team? They'll figure it out. They're professionals, but let them get the money first. Let's keep it real. This is not men's football that you can make millions in Europe but make billions in Saudi Arabia, and you're like, hey, I still make millions in Europe, I can stay. Look, this is a different ball game here, so you can't put anybody down in the women's level for chasing that bag. That's my opinion on the situation. Everybody's entitled to theirs these days. But let me know your thoughts on Chiamaka Nnadozie's next destination. Where do you think she should play at next? What league or what team do you think she should play with next? Let me know in the comment section. Of course, Chiamaka Nnadozie leaves Paris FC after 5.5 years at the club. Let me know your thoughts on all this. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank y'all for watching. Peace.